Okay, so we're gonna start a pinch pot today, and we're gonna start with a piece of clay that looks like this. They're already cut up here, so you can go ahead and come and grab them. They're anywhere from 1 to 1.5 pounds, and we're gonna turn this into a sphere. You're gonna have to use the heel of your hand to like knock the corners of this to make this round. Okay, so you're just gonna hit this and work your way around. And turn this into a ball. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to obsess about it. This is good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing on this one so I can have a good example and a bad example. Okay, so that'll work. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my thumb. I'm gonna go ahead and press into the center, and I'm pressing pretty far down. As you can see, like how far my thumb is in here. We're gonna go ahead and pinch, but we are not pinching with our fingertips. We think about that if you went over and you were to pinch your friend, you're pinching, right, with 2 fingers. And so this is not what you're doing to form the wall of this pot. You want to pinch with your whole hand, like where you're pinching down this way. And so when your thumb is in there, you're gonna press and turn, and you can see like your fingerprints on the outside, but you're pressing all the way in the pot. Okay, so you can see that that's gonna get bigger. Okay, I'm gonna continue to do this and pinch. Lots of clay will get hidden down in this like bottom corner, and so you wanna make sure that you are pressing down here. And if you look, where I've been pinching, I haven't pinched like the top rim. So the top rim is gonna look thicker than it actually is down the wall. Okay, and so once you actually have this to 1/4 of an inch thick, then you can go ahead and pinch, and you can go sideways and pinch this part to get this to look like it's the same thickness as the rest of it. Okay, so you're gonna keep this in your hand. You don't want to sit this and flatten the pinch pot. You can flip it over if you need to get to the base and work on it. Okay, but other than that, I would be holding it. I wouldn't be pressing down and flattening it. Okay, now if we were to look at another one, sometimes what happens is I have people who, when they pinch, they like pull and they pull and they pull instead of like keeping it where it is and pinching and like rotating. Okay, and pinching and moving the pot this way, they're like pulling with this clay and they're opening it up, and they end up with something really, really flat. Okay, because they were pulling the wall open instead of just pinching it where the wall was. Okay, same thing with pinching like this. Okay, you don't want to pinch and make things so thin that it can't support itself anymore. Okay, this is not, there's no way to undo this. You just have to start over. Okay, so you want to make sure that you don't go too far to where you pinch that much. Okay, from here on out, we're going to clean this up and smooth it out. It's easier to clean it up now than when there are lots of things attached to it. And so you can use a little bit of water, you can use your sponge, you can use some slip, you could use the spray bottle. And I realize that this pot is smooth, like it doesn't have like a texture necessarily to it, but it's bumpy, right? And so we want to try and get rid of the bumps, and the way that you do that is by pressing on the top of them. So you press the bump down where it's level with the rest of the clay. Okay, so to get rid of it, you have to push on top of it. You can see I have a hand on the inside and a hand on the outside. Okay, so I'm not like making this like cave in. Okay, but it doesn't take very much effort to do that. But we're trying to smooth this out before we put any design on this. Okay, I think I'm almost. Lots of times when we make these, the tops of these aren't even, and that's okay. I'm going to show you how to trim that so you do have a level top. Okay, that's good. So I've got the outside, except for that one, smoothed out. And so I'm gonna go ahead and now sit this on the table. I'm not gonna press it down, but I'm just gonna place it, and then I'm gonna be able to rotate this. Okay, and so I have to find the lowest point that I have, which is probably over here. And I'm gonna go ahead and measure what my lowest point is. Now I can't measure from sitting upright at the table. I'm gonna have to like hunch down and look like eye level at this. And so I'm gonna move my camera kind of to show you what I mean. So I'm gonna go this way. And it's hard to say if it's gonna, sometimes it just wants to focus on the screen. So I'm gonna go ahead and find that point again. And let me turn my light on. Okay, so I can hold the ruler up to the side, and so then I'm gonna figure out what point I need to mark at, and I'm gonna do what I call like a dot to dot all the way around. So if I'm gonna mark at 2, then I'm gonna move my ruler or twist the pot, and so then I can mark again, and I'm going probably every inch or so. This is so I can, let me twist around. This is so I can level the pot out. Lots of people will say, oh, well, I can just eyeball it. I can make it level. And then they cut some off, and then one side is really short, and then they cut some more off, and then another side is really short, and then they have no project left because they just cut. And you can see I have a lot on this side that I'm going to take off and not very much on the other side. Okay, so the dot to dot is just like you would do a dot to dot like in a notebook or a worksheet. You're just going to connect all those lines. Okay, so I think I'm back to where I was. So you can see all my dots all the way around. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut these. And, well, I'm going to connect them first. Let's see, there we go. So I can connect and I can draw a line all the way around. Kind of missed that one. And then if you see one that goes down, like all of a sudden, then you know that you need to remeasure that one because something is wrong. Okay, so I've got my line all the way around there. I feel like it's level, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. And then we are going to smooth the top of this out. Just with some water, slip, a paintbrush, a sponge, anything that you have been using. Okay. So that is now level. Okay, you can see that. And then I'm going to take that and round this part out. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of those edges so I have a nice rim on the top of it. Okay, so you would do that to the side. You don't want it to be like this or it's going to end up being sharp.